What's going on, everybody? It is good to be here on another AK Roundtable with all of you. It is already February 12th, 2025. And for all of you lovebirds out there, you're 2 days away from Valentine's Day. So don't forget to buy the chocolates or do whatever you need to do for your special one. Make sure you do that. Don't forget, mark it in your calendars or whatever you desire. But yeah, it's good to be here with you guys. We're going to go through a few housekeeping items to make sure that everybody's on point for the meeting and ready to rock and roll. First off, shout out to my man, Dylan Malone, for co-hosting here with us tonight. Dylan, thank you. Thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to be here, brother. Really appreciate you. So down at the very bottom, everyone, you've got a chat window. Just go ahead and click that chat icon. You can chat with everyone on there, or you could even chat directly with anyone that you may see here on the screen. But please do make that chat interactive. You want to make sure that you're asking questions. The only silly question is the one unasked, as we say. And then, of course, you'll notice that there's three little buttons when you hover over your screen or your name. You're going to be able to rename yourself to be your name, followed ideally by your email address. And I say that because the network within the Asphalt Kingdom community, the AK Roundtable community, is really, really strong. You may end up getting jobs from other people in different states that got leads in and they want to shift them over to you. So feel free to drop your name, the name of your company, as well as your location, kind of the area that you work, right in the chat so you can start to build your network. Because, of course, as we always say, you can choose whether you want to self-perform projects or maybe a little bit of both and having other performance partners to execute on projects as well. So the network is strong, guys. Take advantage of that. So if you don't mind, yeah, change your name. You'll see my name says Judd, followed by Judd at asphaltkingdom.com. And you can certainly send me an email at any point in time. You'll see my other AK family team members on here as well. They've got their name and followed by their email address as well. So as we carve into tonight's meeting, there are definitely going to be some golden nuggets that are going to come out of it. I strongly urge you to have a notepad and a pen handy. Your time is precious in your life, and these meetings will come and go. We're 56 minutes away from meeting ending. And so we're going to try and unpack this meeting into something that's very valuable for you that you can hopefully apply to your business and even your personal life. You may be able to get some reflection on that too from this meeting. I say if you can leave here with one or two things that you can apply and improve and progress, then we've won. So at the end of the meeting, I will certainly ask how you found the meeting, and don't be afraid to leave your comments or the number of digits on your hands as to how you rate the meeting out of 10 at the end of the meeting. We will get there. But of course, we start the meeting off. We want to share some wins that have taken place since the last roundtable last Wednesday. Some wins to create the momentum. And I always say that success attracts success. I've certainly had a very successful week. I hope you guys have too. Any wins on the board? Feel free to use your reactions. You can raise your hand or just raise your hand physically. All right, let's go. Premier Lot Solutions. Brother, I'm so sorry. You're going to have to remind me your name, bro.
John.
John, that's right.
I did a lot assessment today, and then I got a lead for a hotel to do a lot assessment tomorrow. So
tell us what an assessment is, John.
Overview of their parking lot condition. Like today, I did a restaurant. It was 15,525 square feet in like condition number 2. So it's going to need a full makeover. A lot of little tiny potholes, a lot of grease and oil stains, cracks all around, little spots, nothing long, but just a lot of little ones. And then around one of the catch basins, it's all empty, that seal is not around it. So everything's kind of going into that. All their lines are pretty much worn out. And then same thing for the handicaps. So it's going to be a full parking lot overhaul.
Amazing, man. And so you're going down that consultative selling route that we're always preaching, right?
Yep.
Congratulations, man. It's one of the most important steps that we've said, like through the sales pipeline, guys. It's one of the most important sets. important steps in that deal stage, which is called pavement assessment. John, there's absolutely no doubt that the more of those you do, the more you fill your pipe, the more that you're going to convert, because you're doing what people want, which is truly not being hard sold with quotes being shoved down their throat right of the gate. Congratulations on working the process, bro.
Thank you.
Welcome. Welcome. Any other wins, guys? Any other wins? Man, Tom, I know you've got to win. Come on, Tom. You've got to win. Tom's got to win. I know he does.
No, I'm just sitting in. I just started today.
Dude, you have a win, man. We were on a meeting earlier. You left that meeting all spiked up and energized. Of course, that's a win. Welcome to the AK Roundtable, brother.
You count that. Thank you.
Right on. Looking forward to working with you. Any other wins, guys? By the way, I have like 9, we have 9, 10, 11 people out of 25 on this meeting are on video. Guys, you got to come off video if you can. If you can be safe and you're not driving, come off video. That's going to build energy. And I'm looking forward to dropping a ton of value tonight. So let's get this thing done. Steven, what's happening, bro?
Hey, Judd. Quick win. I gave a customer a call. I've painted his lot 2 years in a row and said, can I give you another bid? And he said, oh, don't worry about it. I'm just going to have you do my parking lot lines every year. And I didn't ask him. He just volunteered it. And I was like, that's good to know. Have that first win of the season, every season lined up. I just give him the paperwork and away I go. So I'll try to upsell him on seal coating, and I've done crack flowing for him before, but it takes all the pressure off having that first contract guaranteed now. And keep doing good work with it so he doesn't find someone else.
Fill the pipe, man. Fill the pipe. Springtime's around the corner. Billy Ammons, what's happening? You're muted, bro. We want to hear that voice. Let's go.
Hey team, good evening. Good evening all. I got more of a question to the community and just see what everybody else is doing. This is more for like lines of credit for when, just say if you're doing multiple jobs and you're waiting for that T30, T45, some big projects that might go 4 to 6 months from paying out. And what are y'all doing, and how are y'all laying that like line of credit out, whether it be once you have exhausted, you know, your resource, your traditional resources, whether it be business credit cards and et cetera, what is some of them taking deposits up front? And I've switched up on the terms and conditions to ask for those, maybe a 25% to 50% for materials moving forward on future projects. But just seeing how people moved around as they start getting multiple jobs. I'm still small. I'm a little shrimp down here.
Carvin, McCann, let's go. Coach McCann.
The biggest thing, like, I'm assuming that we're talking about a $50,000 to $250,000 job. Understanding, what type of quantity they're going to look at you for in terms of evaluating the job cost or the job progress. So honest job of that size, getting a deposit to cover kind of your initial upfront, but then also establishing milestones where you're able to progress bill. So for example, if it's a $250,000 job or if it's a $200,000 job, breaking that into smaller components and establishing what those milestones are. Otherwise, you can get into that situation where you're just constantly, kind of running around on site. Nothing is done. Everything is started. You've incurred all of the cost and you can't bill for anything. So especially when you're working with a general contractor, really establishing what those mile markers are so that you can progress bill and that you don't have to wait 6 months for your money. You get to treat it as 10 smaller projects that you can bill as you go. You do a lot of line striping, right, Billy?
That's all I like to do.
Right.
I'll be honest. Seal coating's great. Yeah, I got an infrared here. I just got a crack filling machine. Won't add those services, but I really wanted to. I love the line striping. It's kind of like the tranquility part of, I, I call it fun. The ceiling, once maybe one day, Judd sends me one of those 750 bosses, air bosses. Maybe I can make fun. But no, it's I have to get the more experience with the ceiling. And I think what I'm planning to do on these bigger seal coating projects is partnering up with local seal coaters that already have that equipment. I got, speaking of one right down the road from me in Wilmington that the AK team has worked with before. Great company, Harbor Seal Coating.
Yeah, shout
So
out to Miller Diggs.
I want, yeah, hey, if they got the equipment, they got they already have the experience. I would like to tap into those, use those as performance partners. And, I just invested and got a new line striper, a Graco 200 DC. And I just got a new laser, long line laser for it. And I just want to focus on, now I did, for the infrared small stuff, crack filling. The reason why I think that is a little bit more less risky for me is that I can crack seal and do infrared repair the same day and line strike the same night on a job, and I'm not waiting 12 hours to the next day to reseal it. So if I'm going out of town to work, and then I can do it in a weekend and get back to my day job. And versus the sealing, sealing, you need a team, 2 or 3 people to seal a decent sized lot. And right now it's easier to have someone else that already has that established.
Hmm. Yeah, that's the value of that performance partner relationship for sure, right? I wanted to just jump back because I wanted to make sure that I answered your first question there around lines of credit and stuff like that. So in terms of like, sort of doing progress payment on bigger projects, is that what you were looking for? Were you more looking for just lines of credit in general and sort of being able to pull that lever in your business?
So right now, like I've I've looked into SBA, and I just know that's I've started that process, but it takes, it takes time. It could take 6 months. I
Mhm.
heard it could take longer. Um, and the progress billing, that's something maybe I could talk with them with the current job. This is, it probably should be a lot bigger job than what, I mean, it's a lot bigger job than what's being paid out. And it's more of a tuition, paying a tuition stage. And I'm seeing that, and I'm seeing why maybe a lot of people in this particular instance stayed away, because there's a lot of obstacles, and just to put down the paint, that you can't put down the paint properly without some other prep work being done. And when they're trying to maybe skip steps, it makes it harder. So um it's, I never say turn down a big opportunity, but man, if I could turn back a few weeks, maybe I would have rethinking some of the strategies on how I maneuvered, especially when it comes to, like you said, that progress billing, being clear and concise with the expectations, outlining exactly up to quantities of materials. Because like right now, like I'm not afraid to say it, but I'm over um on this particular job, like a magnitude that's most people would might push. If I was just getting started, 6 months in and not 2 years in, yeah, I'll be pushed out. It'll wipe me out.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because of
Do
cash flow.
you, yeah, cash flow's the name of the game, right? I think I remember name drop, but I was on Shark Tank, and I remember them just digging in on us on our financials for about an hour and a half. What is your burn? What is your projected burn? And by burn, I mean how much money are you going to spend in the business, regardless of what happens in the business. So if you don't do $1 of work, what are you going to spend in the business? And I think that's a big takeaway for everybody here on the call, period, is understand, what is your burn rate and how much money are you spending every single month, regardless of if you do a dollar of revenue, your insurance, your truck payment, your phone, any marketing or website. Because if, you get into a situation where you have to really kind of tighten the belt on that type of thing, you got to know where you can cut and how much revenue you need to make up to make sure that you're in the black every month, right? Oh, Mr. Alex Coring, probably the master of this.
Mr. Coring, what's up? I know you're driving, so be safe. Are you parked right now, brother?
Oh yeah, I just pulled into a parking spot. Yeah.
So you hear what's going on right now. I mean, you with your business, it's a multi-million-dollar operation out of California. You're taking on projects that are obviously much larger than when you first started the business. So
Yeah.
average size is going up significantly. But I mean, you're bidding on six-figure projects on an ongoing basis. Can you talk a little bit about what it's like to make sure that you're funding these projects and or have the cash flow to be able to successfully execute on them without risking your business as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've talked about this a lot in the past, is know your target job, right? And go after those jobs that you have enough equipment to get them done in a reasonable amount of time. And that's just having the right equipment. And then on top of that, when you stack it, you've got material costs that you're going to have to put out up front. So I think there's a couple of ways of mitigating some of that to get some of these bigger jobs. Is number one, getting a bigger line of credit, which I've done. I think we have, like, on credit cards alone, I've got over like $125,000. So like I could go out and spend that every month and not really feel the pain until 30 days later. So if you have, depends on what your payment terms are. We're net 14. We used to be net 30, and Judd helped with that. We were running into some issues with people not paying us. They see net 30 and then they roll into 45 or longer, right? So we tightened up the belt on net 14. Now, do we get paid in 14? No, we get paid in 30. So now we get paid in 30 instead of 45, right? So everyone's like 2 weeks late on their payment. So I would say, like, go and establish a better line of credit with the bank that you're working with so that you could float more, and then change your terms so that you can pull that money in quicker. You'll never really feel that burn unless you have bills due that you can't pay because the money's not coming in the door. So cash flow is king. You could have the most healthy business ever and be doing a ton of work, but if your cash flow in and out is not healthy, then you could tank your business pretty quick. Does that kind of hit on what you were thinking, Judd?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and I think you have to look at this as all of the areas, Billy, and for everyone on here. If you're going to go run a project, let's just say it's a $25, $30, $40, $50,000 project, $100,000 project. You have to look at what you can leverage from a relationships perspective that you've established. So vendors are a massive portion of this as well, right? We've had clients come to us and say, hey, listen, I've landed this job. It's signed. It's ready to rock and roll. We're going to need to stretch to 45 payment terms. And, we're owed the money in 30 days. We have to stretch it to 45 just to make sure we're setting things right with you guys. And we give them that grace period to extend it on that project as long as we have the security that we're going to get our money. But I think you really need to go and speak with all of the close relationships that you have an incredibly close relationship with the bank, have an incredibly close relationship with your vendors. They are your partners. Your vendors are your partners. Well, some of them don't act like it, but you want to make sure that the ones that you have do act like that they're actually genuinely caring about you. Some vendors will have higher pricing, but the level in which they're able to serve your account and provide terms is at a different level, right? So, You know, in our case, we are not the cheapest out there as it relates to supplies and equipment, transparently. But I can guarantee that other manufacturers and other distributors are not hosting Wednesday night roundtables and putting out the amount of educational content, bringing the resources and systems to you guys that you get access to. So, you know, at the end of the day, it's like those relationships are really, really important, Billy, and everyone on this team. Very, very important. Build them, nurture them, and leverage them. Does that help, Billy? Cool. You're muted. We cannot hear you.
Yes, sir.
Cool. Awesome, dude. Alex Coring, man, what's happening over there? I know it's February 12th, man, 2025. You're about to, I mean, you've been working throughout the year, you haven't stopped, and now you're getting ready to carve into a full-fledged rock and roll season. What's on the docket?
So I actually hired a couple of guys recently. So we have 8 guys now on payroll. And it's been a little challenging because a lot of the jobs that we've been getting are kind of small. So we've got like 15 jobs on the books, and then we're trying to shuffle guys, and there's always some bottleneck or another. Like we had a truck bottleneck. I went out and bought more trucks. Now we've got a trailer bottleneck. First we had a people bottleneck. I solved that, and now we have too many people but not enough trailers and all the trucks. But we had to cancel some guys off the schedule yesterday, and they weren't too happy. I was just like, hey, you know, one job pushed into the next day, and now we don't have enough trailers. So it's a little bit of a juggle right now. I just closed down a job today for next week. That's a $40,000 driveway. So we're going to tear out 42 yards of concrete and do a big stamped driveway next week. But yeah, we have about 15 projects on the books. They're just a bunch of, you know, rinky dinky kind of things right now. So just trying to get positioned for the season coming up. And we've, you know, got a few seal coat jobs already that are lined up. Doing some ADA stalls, some paving. We just paved out a winery, and that turned out really nice. So I got a bunch of drone shots on that. We're gonna put together for some marketing material. And
Nice.
yeah, I mean, you know, right now we're like 2 weeks out. Typically in the summer we're 3 months to get on the books. You know, 3 months scheduled. So we're limping through the winter, but we are ahead of last year by about 50 or 60 grand so far for the year. So
You're up. Nice.
yeah, year over year we're off to a good start. Yeah.
Excellent. Continuing to focus on that bottom line. Cool. Thanks
Yeah.
for the update, man. That's awesome. Hey, so I've got a question for everyone on the roundtable here. Just a question. Raise your hand right now if you are feeling the need to grow. It's kind of an open-ended question, right? Like it's like the need to grow, right? I was doing a freestyle jam with Mr. Ascioni from Integrity Asphalt out of Michigan, who's growing a lot over the last few years. And you know, we were talking about growth, and it's like, as we're going into this next stage of our development, the question really comes down to what is it that we're focusing on in order to grow, whatever that might be. So if you raise your hand, you said you want to grow, where do you want to grow, right, is the question. So is it business? Is it personal? Is it physical? And not grow physically, but you get my drift, right? Grow into a being that's more healthy. And so those growth areas, I personally feel that we all need to be growing in all aspects, our mind, body, and soul. And of course, the business is able to bloom from that as well. Has anybody, raise your hand if you've ever heard of a gym workout before? Gym workout, like a routine? Cool. So I find usually that when I don't have a routine and I go to the gym, I walk around kind of like that guy staring at different pieces of equipment, and I like do maybe one set and then I forget to do another set, and then I get out of track and I'm kind of not really in a system, and I don't get a good workout afterwards. I kind of wing it. And so I had the pleasure of having a freestyle jam this week with Skylar, who's on here. Coach Skylar, what's up? He's the president of Pro Seal, and we were talking about processes and systems. Alex, we've talked about processes and systems. We've talked about it on the roundtable. But one of the things that stood out to me that was really interesting, it was like, and then today with Dom, who's working with Skylar out in the field and really optimizing the business from an operations standpoint and getting out there and executing on the projects. I was on camera and he showed me one of Skylar's trucks. And it was pretty awesome to see that there are bucket holders, like metal brackets, that are in the back of the truck that are color coded inside the back of the truck, that buckets come off the shelf that are color coded that go into the color coding. And then they have racks for the blowers that are positioned strategically on the back of the truck so that when the driver gets out of the truck, he can immediately hit the blower and immediately get to work. Because what Skylar has done with the team is they've grown the business to, again, a multi-million-dollar operation from 6 figures, and now optimizing every portion of the business impacts the bottom line and the profitability. Because I think we can all agree, and Skylar, I'm going to jump you in here, but I think we can all agree that building a company that's $1 million company is like a big vanity thing, right? It's like a plaque on the wall that you say, I built $1 million business, but who really gives a shit if you built $1 million business? I don't care if you built a $10 million business. But if you tell me that I've built $1 million EBITDA, and that now you multiply that by 3 on company evaluations and you have $3 million worth of value, enterprise value that exists there, then I'm going to celebrate with you. But I think that's one of the things that's so important for all of you guys that are just starting out, as well as in the business, growing the business, is that getting things refined into processes and systems that don't only rely on you as a key man, but teams that are able to plug into the systems and processes that allow you to develop enterprise value is the most special thing about building a business. And to a point that you can look in the mirror and say, if I wanted to go to anywhere I want, Maui, and I want to go learn how to kite surf for 3 months, that you have a business that has been built that allows you to walk away and do that, if that's what you desire. If you don't, then that's cool too. But who here, raise your hand if you really want to build a business of significant enterprise value that you're proud of, that you don't have to worry about your bills, that you're able to go on vacation when you want to go on vacation, honestly. Yeah. Right. Skylar, can you talk a little bit about like the depth of some of the stuff that you're working on here, bro?
Yeah, we to talk about like how, to add on to it, we kind of joked a little bit about like inside the truck of like painting the steering wheel of like the 10 and 2 position, right? Of like, this is how we safely drive the truck. And as granular as you want to get is what allows you to impact the bottom line. It was really crazy to look back. Last year we had a $2.8 million projection, and the bottom line projection off of just what was holding out was like $180,000. We did not hit that in top line, but our bottom line was like 2.5 times what it was projected to be at a lower revenue because we were worried about the bottom line instead of growing revenue. Because it's important. That's the cash we get to keep. And, now it's exactly like you're saying of like, down to like McDonald's has a trace out on the wrapper of where to set the burger inside the wrapper. So you can fold it over every single time and you can put anybody in the seat. And it's no longer, a thing of thinking, is just muscle memory when we get out. And again, I know we talked about the freestyle jam and, we've built a machine to be able to do something that most people can't do at a profitable thing at scale profitably. Again, on the residential side, I can do 15 driveways a day. And that was still operating in some chaos. We can do hundreds of them a season. Like this year, we're going to do 900 residential driveways. And that's 20% of my revenue. So it's, you know, it's just something we've optimized. And again, it's having teams that you're building, scaling, growing, that it literally makes it impossible. Like you're saying, like you've seen the truck. Where can you set anything else? You can't. There's no room to put a single other thing on that truck but what drives the business forward every day and the products we use.
Yeah, man.
And that's
Yeah.
that's just the tip of the iceberg on some of the stuff we have going on. You know what I mean? We have racking and, you know, like legitimate warehouse stuff going in on the shop. We have walls that are, you know, getting built out for stencil optimization, a bunch of different things going on. We built some more offices, and now it's just continue plugging away. Yeah.
I love the optimization portion of this. And just to be clear, everyone, like I've chatted with Skylar back and forth and coaching clients that we work with. And it's like a lot of people say to us, well, what should I be charging per square foot? And like, what should I be charging per linear foot for crack sealing? Like, raise your hand here if you think that there's kind of the industry standard pricing for line striping. Raise your hand if there's an industry standard pricing. Raise your hand, honestly, if you think there's industry standard pricing for line striping.
There is.
For sure there is. There's industry standard pricing for crack sealing. There's industry standard pricing for seal coating, but it doesn't mean it needs to be your pricing. You guys, we all need to be pricing things at a level that allows us to get what we need to build an extremely profitable company.
I think one thing too is just to even give people perspective that aren't doing $1 million in revenue yet. Like, it's cool to build it, but I'll tell you really quick, it teaches you how much $1 million isn't. Like, $1 million revenue, I think, was worse than like the lower revenue. Like 500, 700 grand, I probably had just as much cash at 5 or 7 at $1 million, because it's not a lot of money and you can spend a lot of money really quick trying to build that operational thing. But if you continue to protect the bottom line and truly understand the operational complexity of the business and reinvest, right? Like it was funny. We were just joking today. I was just like, I looked over at Charlie. We were in meetings literally all day long. I'm still, you know, here wrapping some stuff up. And I was like, man, running a business is expensive. And he was like, yeah, it is. And I was like, when's it just going to stop? And, you know, each one of these things costs, right? Like, guys, prospectively, like what I did to my rigs this year cost me $14,000. And that's not including my in-shop labor. Like, Dom's still putting that stuff together and mounting. $14,000 of custom fabrication, of, you know, working with a fabricator and building things out and giving them ideas and doing revisions and building custom boxes and building custom holders and all of this different stuff. Some stuff was commercial bought, but it takes time. And it's just like, those are the investments that you put back. But $14,000 when I have, you know, 9 guys out in the field operating, and in construction, 30% of time, 30% of wages. We were like $500,000-ish, a little over $500,000. I think like 562 last year in wages, $562,000. And 30% of that, you want to know what was spent doing? Looking for a tool. And that's construction industry specific statistics.
Wow, dude, that is crazy. That is crazy. And so are you telling me that you went to like job sites yourself with the truck with Dom or another team member, and you actually went to mock up situations to see how you could refine the time and maximize your efficiencies?
Yeah, I had Charlie completely study us for a week and a half out in the field, paying my administrator to write SOPs for where our time was spent and efficiencies to optimize how we work. You know, and it was like, again, a lot of it was our getting going capacity. And it's what I've tried to streamline significantly. It was from the time we hit the job site to the time we got in that flow. And we would hit that flow state and you would be like, dude, you went from 200 foot an hour to 1,500 foot an hour. And once you were in that flow state, you guys were producing. But like, to get into that flow state, it was because we're digging through boxes, we're digging through the truck, we're doing the thing. And like now it's literally like our onboarding process, we're going to have someone sit in the office for 4 to 5 days before they even step foot in the shop. You want to know what they're doing? They're running dry runs on trucks. They're watching our videos. They're understanding what the job is. They know the right man in the seat hits the right truck. They're going to break out. He's going to hit the right broom holder. He's going to grab the broom. The passengers also has a backpack blower on his side. And those are the first 2 things they do. And they know exactly where to start. And they're going to know that before they even hit the field.
Dude, I have a question for you. So, and by the way, if you want to use your reactions down at the button, raise your hand. If you've got questions, guys, don't be afraid. Raise your hand. We're just jamming. Feel free to raise your hand, that little reactions button, little yellow hand. All right. Send the emojis, the reactions, whatever you want to do. Skylar, I mean, when I think of this, dude, you know what I think about? How long have you owned ProSeal now?
Like 4 years.
What if you had the knowledge that you do now that you could have implemented back 4 years ago? What do you think? I understand that growth is supposed to be painful and you go through this time, but if you were able to teach your younger self when you bought the business on what you needed to implement right now to optimize and refine and become more efficient, where do you think you'd be right now if you were to guess, honestly?
3 times, 5 times, maybe. I would say somewhere in there. I think again, like you kind of summed it up. The growth needs to be a little bit painful. The growth, you need to kind of feel some of these things out, but you got to have the mindset to just do better. And I think I could have done more. I could have done significantly more with less in the beginning, and some of it was just scale. And that was part of it, where it was like, okay, buy the better equipment, do the thing. And yeah, we needed it, but I really probably could have taken one rig and had the version I have now and got that, buyback without a big investment. It was say it would have been half of that. It was a $7,000 investment instead of a, $50,000 piece of machinery or whatever it was. And I could have done a lot of that optimization stuff in the beginning, where I had this super, super tight team at capacity instead of just pushing,
So I'm thinking about this because for me, it's here's something when we host a live roundup event, you guys some of you have been there. But we do these round tables. We've given away the AK Vault to a lot of you. Raise your hand if you have the AK Vault, by the way. AK Vault, you guys have the AK Vault. Yeah, Tom, you're getting access to it. But for those of you that get access to the AK Vault, I'm going to tell you just genuinely, because I get to see what's there. We've given access to over 400 people over the last 2 years to the AK Vault, our coaching clients, as well as people who came to our live events, 400. And do you know that less than 5% use it? 5% of the people use it. And do you know that Skylar used it as part of his business growth and development to build what he's building as a portion of it? It's a piece of it. And the people that have actually used it and leveraged it grow their business. And so what I'm getting at is, straight up, the majority of people, honestly, are the ones that don't answer the phone, guys. They're not the ones that go into the vault to learn. They're not attending the meetings. They're not putting the stuff, the advice that we talk about forward. They end up just being present in the moment, and then they go back to trying to figure it all out on their own. And it's why people generally will fall out and churn from being an entrepreneur. So the question really comes down to this, right? It's do we have the discipline and the determination to execute on a plan that has been proven time and time again to be able to achieve the results that you set from a financial target? And that's it.
I can add to the AK Vault with circling it back into the beginning of enterprise value, right? Majority of those things will be the beginning start of what you believe, what becomes to develop as your IP or intellectual property, which is what is the enterprise value of the business, which is truly in our world what trades at a very high multiple to get the revenue that you desire. But anyway, a part of that 100% is built in there, and that is majority of the valuation of what you would get. And where I'm trying to wrap this up at, as like, I just looked at a business. It was very attractive at sheet value. The business was doing $1 million when I started looking. I signed an NDA. I looked through some stuff. It was doing $1 million in 23. It 1.2 in 22, 1.8 in 21. I asked for IP and I wanted to see what the intellectual property was of the company. They kind of beat around the bush. They didn't have anything. This was $300,000 I was ready to pay for this business. And then I got 24 reports, and they had 70% of their revenue tied up in one client. You want to know what happened? They lost the client and they lost the deal, right? It's a guy that now has health problems, that has nothing he can do with his business because he didn't follow the things that are in the AK vault from the beginning, like building his IP, like building out, good reporting systems, like building out customer databases, like diversifying his revenue streams that are coming into the business. And he's going to lose everything.
Yep. And by the way, the vault guys, when you go to that landing page, you're going to see the price tag that's on there. It's $5,000. I'm not telling you to pay the $5,000. I'm saying that anybody who's on AK Dash, anybody who is a part of our coaching programs, anybody who's transacting with us, you guys get free access to the vault. We just give it to you guys. So if you need to reach out to one of your Asphalt Kingdom team members and you want the keys to the vault, we'll just give it to you. All right. We just want you guys getting access to that. But Skylar, there's a reason why there was an enormous amount of time put into that, man. It's because I remember when I was literally 18 years old with a 5-gallon pail of sealer and a paint roller and trying to figure it all out on my own, knocking on doors, trying to figure out what to say door to door, being stuck in the hamster wheel of only being able to do 5 or 6 driveways a day by hand and walking away at the end of the day saying, that was an awesome $800 day. That was rad. To realizing that an $800 day in this industry is not all that much.
Hey,
right?
hey, Skylar, let me ask you a question, do a little thought experiment.
What up, man? How are you?
How much sealer did you put down last year? Like you in the field, like how much did you get out there and like lay down the sealer yourself?
I might have laid 1,500 to 2,000 gallons, like not
Like-
much at all.
Personally, right?
Yeah, personally,
And then how much did your team lay down? Like
85,000.
Right. So like, I think this is the difference. This is the differentiator. I think businesses like yours and mine, like you don't focus on, hey, I'm going to go out there and lay down sealer. I'm going to go out and perform the work. You're thinking at a different level of your business, that you're a business owner and a entrepreneur instead of somebody that's thinking from the mindset of like, I got to go out and find the client, close the deal, do all of that stuff themselves. It's really, really hard to grow a business and to scale a company if you're doing the physical labor yourself. Like it's hard to do estimates and work at the same time. You can't do it.
Yep.
And also deal with fire drills that come up, right? You got to put out fires and other things. And if you don't have an admin, you're severely cut off at the knees from a company standpoint. Like I would almost say like, hey, if anyone's struggling right now to do it all, they can't do it all, go find an admin or a VA or something that they can get, like even a friend or a relative, put them on some kind of, even if it's 20 hours a week to free up your time so that you can be that entrepreneur. Because you can't be out in the field doing the work and grow your business effectively. It's just not possible. You have to have a different mindset.
Yep.
Yeah.
And transparently, like, I'm not in the owner's box yet. You know, that's the goal right now, is to get me from the coach on the sidelines to the owner's box. Because that's where I really do well, and that's really where the magic happens. But you know, I still have some coaching, I still have some development to do. So I'm not, you know, I'm not perfect. I'm not sitting back. I can't leave for 4 months on end and everything be okay. Can I leave a couple weeks? Yeah, I just was away for 2 weeks. But you know, it's get me from the coach on the sidelines to the owner's box is really our next goal, because you're exactly right. We got me from the quarterback to, you know, I don't know football well enough to know what the next less important deal is from the quarterback, but we got me from the quarterback to somewhere else on the field to the coach on the sidelines. And now it's time, you know, to make the transition from the coach on the sidelines to the owner's box. But, you know, I keep saying, like, I thought it would be quicker, and it was quick, right? You know, a lot of people say, how'd you get here this quick? But like, I thought it would be quicker, but it's definitely set a new standard for what it takes. You know, if you would ask me how quick I want to be in the owner's box, I'd be like, oh, end of this year. I know it's probably like 3 to 5. Like, it really is. Like, there's time. I'm building a sales team. I'm still currently like the sales manager, right? And there's adding complexity in there. And then I got to retract myself from that and hire a sales manager. And then, you know, I still have some operational stuff, and there's going to be a team that gets built out under that. And there's some operational things that get added in. And, you know, so there's time. But
you're also investing into all of that too. Like building your sales team, building your sales processes, getting your setters set up, like genuinely, just to be transparent with everyone. Like, Skylar's hiring us at AK. He's an Asphalt Kingdom coach. He's hiring us to get the pavement assessment appointment setters set up. And that number is not a 3-digit number. It's a multiple 4-digit number to do that. But once he has the systems and processes that are nailed and teed and trained, now he's built a machine that is not a hand crank business. He builds enterprise value, and he now has the leads that are booking those pavement assessments on the calendars for his sales guys to go execute on. Like, that's the special stuff, right? It's not about buying a striper. It's the striper is cool. You want a really cool striper. You want an Airboss 750, but man, if they're not working all the time,
it's a liability.
So questions raised. I know you guys have to have some questions. McCann, do you have a question up there, bud?
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of pick Alex and Skylar's brain, because I think there's some continuity there around, you know, working on the business over working in the business and kind of getting to that level. I kind of wanted to just pick your guys' brain on, how do you know when to add certain people to the business? You know, when do you add an operations manager? When do you add a sales manager or a salesperson or an admin person? You know, in your guys' business, from your personal experience, you know, what were those trigger points for you? I think the group would benefit from that.
I have some really good stuff, because we just kind of went through some of this. In the beginning, I really winged it, and I just said, man, I'm working too much, and I just hired unstrategically and hired the next person that could fill whatever I thought I needed done. Just recently, though, like literally in the past 6 months here, we just went through a time study, and everybody for a week straight had to fill out their calendar in 15-minute blocks and what they were doing. And then they had to label it as a $5, a $50, or a $100 task. And we audited everybody's time from top to bottom, from technicians to ownership, of what we were doing. And the first thing we did was, how do we delegate all the $5 tasks to a $5 employee, right? Or a lower paying employee. If we have foremans and ownership or administrators that are making, you know, 40, 50 bucks an hour, and they're doing, you know, 10, 5, 10, $15 an hour tasks, like, it just gets passed down the chain to people that are making 5, 10, $15 an hour. No one's making 5, but you know what I'm saying? So that was literally something we just went through, and some people were like, this is the dumbest thing ever. And some people were, you know, were like, okay, I'm going to fill this out. But it definitely made a pretty quick shift once you start having to audit, for one, you self audit and you're like, oh man, I've been doing this for a while and I could have someone do this for 10 or 15 bucks and I make 40 bucks an hour. I probably should stop doing this. And then, operationally you fix it.
Yeah, I think Skylar, that's a good thought experiment. You also gotta be careful, like if you're assigning certain things to people based on their experience or pay scale, that they don't turn a $10 task into a $50 mess up. I just had a bunch of that stuff, like just stupid example. We got a new office and I wanted to paint my office, and so I assigned my line striper to paint my office, and then I spent probably 8 hours cleaning up his mess because he's never painted walls before. So that was an interesting experiment. But for me, I would say, like, when is it time? How do you know if it's time or not to bring on more people is based on bottlenecks. So I think you got to take a look at your operations and say, like, what's slowing us down? Is it not getting to, like, say you have too many estimates in your queue and you're losing business because your turnaround time is like 2 weeks to pump out an estimate, and then by the time you go out and do it or call that client, they say, oh, we already made a decision. Okay, well, you're not turning those quotes around quick enough. That might be your bottleneck. Or, like I was talking about earlier, having the right equipment. You might be short a truck, or you might be short this or that, but it's taking a look at your business and on a regular basis and finding out what's the bottleneck that's slowing you down, and then opening up that throat, just widening that bottleneck a little bit. As you do that, as you grow and scale your business, what got you to 100,000 isn't gonna, if you do more of that, it's not gonna get you to 500,000. And when you get to 500,000, you want to get to 1 million. If you do more of that stuff, it's probably not. So you can't just keep scaling the same thing. You have to change your systems and processes. So as you evolve and as you get bigger as a company, you need to invent new processes and new systems that, whether it be using something like, say you're a $250,000 business. How do you get to 500,000? Use AK Dash, right? Pump out have higher quality estimates, pump them out quicker, have a CRM in place that helps you manage and optimize all of your quotes and leads. And that might get you to the next level, just implementing something like that,
Like this is a goal, again, golden advice. I hope that you guys are writing down some of these notes, because there's really, really good takeaways that are all here. There's a couple of questions that are in here, and we're coming to the top of the hour. Thank you everyone for pouring in. Skylar, Alex, Mr. McCann, everyone on here. Thank you for your pouring in. Julian has a question above. It says, and Julian, you ready to spotlight with me, buddy? Let's go. I'm going to put you in spotlight with me. You ready for this? I love this question. Well, it's actually a statement.
Right.
My problem is getting jobs. Number one, my Google, Facebook ads don't perform, so I just knock on doors, one-man show. So let's unpack that right now. You're saying that your problem is getting jobs, correct?
Correct.
So what's the number one way that you're going to get jobs right now?
Knocking doors.
What doors are you knocking?
All of them. If they look like they need done, I knock it.
So I think your problem is not getting jobs. I think your problem is actually that you're not making enough money to be excited right now because you're knocking on the wrong doors.
Okay. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So, because I'm going out there, and it takes time, right? So, I mean, it's like not everybody, says yes, of course. So, in order to, get a couple jobs a day, you obviously have to knock more doors than you get sales. And so I'm out knocking for 9, 10, 11, 12 hours a day, and yeah, I'll have these, $600, $800, $1,000, $1,200, $1,400 days, and it feels great, and I just keep going day by day, knocking doors, getting jobs, making money, paying the bills. But it's like, I'm looking for that next level too. It's like,
Understood.
because I'm seeing people, they're like, oh, they have a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks lined up of jobs, because people are calling their phone, and it's like, well, nobody. If a customer calls my phone, it's because I left them a business card at the door and they want me to come back, so I can seal their driveway. It's like,
So
how do I get that phone to ring so I can get people on the schedule so I can,
yeah.
you know.
Don't wait for any phone to ring ever. Just have your social media set up, have your social proof there. Some lead generation will come through. Google My Business is going to be the most important for you, but have your other platforms set up for social proof. But the number one way that you're going to actually grow your business is through what's called outbounding. And outbounding means that you're either going to knock on residential doors. So let's just do some simple math right here. How much money do you want to make at the end of 2025 when you start cashing in all your chips? You look at it, how much cash do you want to put in your pocket? Not revenue, but cash in your pocket.
I mean, if I can get, break through that 6-figure mark, that would be amazing,
So 100 grand.
Yeah, that would be great.
So you got to do
If I
250
could
this
start
year,
there.
right? So you got
What
to
was
do
that?
around 250. You got to do around 250,000 this year. That means, right, in revenue.
Less. The profit margin, I did the math on it, and my profit margin's like 81% or something. So if I want to do
Sorry, Julian, just on driveways, that is not paying you enough money to be able to actually hit that number. You see, the challenge is that right now you're a one-man show knocking on doors that are going to be really challenging for you to hit 6 figures, my brother. Straight up.
correct,
If you,
because my average job size is like $300.
well, you'd have to do 200 jobs, right, at $500 in order to get there, right?
Yeah.
You'd have to do more than that, right?
Yeah.
You'd have to do 400. Is that math correct, everyone? 400 jobs times $500 is 200 grand. Is that right? So you can't.
Mind if I hop in here, Judd, with a comment?
Yeah, let's roll.
Like to Judd's point, if you're out there and you're having to cold call and try and close those jobs down, and you're walking door to door for 8-10 hours, I mean, that's pretty frustrating and that's long days, but you have to scale yourself. So when you knock on a door, if you're knocking on a door 1-for-1, it's going to take you forever. You need to knock on doors that have 10 doors behind them or 20 doors behind them. And you knock on the one door and you're actually knocking on 20 doors or whatever. Like, imagine you just went to a neighborhood that is an HOA and you knocked on the door and said, who's the president of the HOA here? Great. You go to that guy's door and you say, hey, we're offering seal coating services for driveways. Even if say you're doing residentials, can I put out a mailer through your HOA and put a blast to every single homeowner for 200, and you just knocked on one door and you got 250 homes in the HOA. Okay. Door to door to door, you cannot scale yourself that high. You will burn yourself out. It's just not possible. You need bigger jobs, or you need to knock on doors that have many doors behind them.
Okay. Yeah, got you. Because it is a lot, and they are long days, and knocking doors all day, every day. My truck doesn't even have AC, so kind of sucks. But you do what you got to do. But and
Go find
I'm working
people that
hard.
control
I got to
multiple
work
jobs,
smarter,
like
not harder.
property management company. Go find a property management company, and they do like residential multifamily. Go talk to them. They manage all of the properties, like all the rental properties. Go get 100 rental properties. You have to go find people that control more than a 1-for-1. Then you can
Okay.
scale yourself. And then as you get busier, so now you knocked on a door, you've just made 50 points of contact. Okay, you scaled yourself by 50x. I don't know, maybe it's only 10x, but you can scale yourself 10x. And then you can put somebody else in place to do the work. And now you can scale your time even more. But it's hard to, you're just getting enough work to keep yourself busy. You need enough work to keep somebody else busy while you do something else.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just, just working for myself, and it's like I'm not gonna get there and get that
You can't
multi
scale.
six
Yeah.
figure
You gotta scale
business.
yourself, bro. You gotta scale yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So HOAs, property management companies.
Yeah, but you want to understand the process in which you need to follow to do that. It's not just meeting the person. There's a process that you should follow. And just so everyone's clear on, sorry, team, I believe it's March 6th. March 6th, I am hosting a sales power stack that is literally unpacking what we're speaking about right now of setting financial targets and working the 5-step close sales process inside of AK Dash that we use. For anyone who is an AK Dash subscriber, you guys get it at free access. For those of you that are not an AK Dash subscriber, you don't get free access. But I can guarantee that at the end of that meeting or money back, you will have exactly what you need to go and execute on the goals that are set by the end of that meeting. That meeting in 90 minutes, you will have understood exactly what you need to do to work those commercial deals, Julian. Then it's up to you to follow the dang process, FTDP. And so that's something that you guys may want to consider if you want to sharpen your spears and learn that sales process. As Skylar said, as Alex has said, guys, if you could only go back to where you were and know what you know now, a lot of you right now are not 4 years ahead looking back and saying that. Take advantage of what you have right now to be able to leverage to grow your future. Genuinely. I wish I had this, Julian. Genuinely, man, when I was your age trying to figure things out straight up.
Yeah.
Cool. You got this, dude. You just need you need a good circle. Welcome.
Glad to be here.
Cool, man. Good to be here. Thanks, Alex. Appreciate you, brother. All right, let's see. It's 8:04 p.m. I am going to go through one last question and then we're going to close up. Any final questions at all? I think there was one. Thank you, Mr. McCann. March 6th, 11 a.m. Eastern, confirmed for sales power stack. By the way, if you guys want access to that, just shoot me an email, Judd at Asphalt Kingdom, and we'll be happy to set you guys up. We're going to max it out to about 15, 20 people, just because we want it to be more of an intimate, engaged setting. So that's available to you guys. Judd at Asphalt Kingdom is my email. Any questions, guys? Matt Phillips, you're working out in the field today, dude, in the cold. What's going on?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys can see behind me. We're at a ski resort, and they're expecting about 2 feet of snow. So we're up here frantically patching, doing some cold patching. So I'll just show. I don't know if you can see like the hole here. So what I do is I have cold patch that's in bucket. I get my bucket comes to my yard. We fill up these buckets. And then bring them up and dump them in the holes and just make money. So guys, if you're looking for any revenue sources or anything, think outside the box. These ski resorts, they can't get anybody, these bigger paving companies come up and do this because they just don't do, their winterized or whatever. So anyway, that's why I've been trying to catch. I lost service for a bit, but so you can make money out of this black rock right here, guys. So each bucket, I'm going to be billing out about $100 buckets a bucket. So I've got 15 buckets here. I've been up here since I started driving up here when Roundtable started. So by time Roundtable's over, I made $1,500. So. Anyway, I just encourage everybody to, if you use that AK Vault, read through it. Even if you don't use it word for word, get the ideas that Judd's put years and years, and I mean, like multiple years of experience into that information to apply to your business. And make some money. I mean, just be good, be professional, be responsible, responsible owner. If you're a one-man show, Billy was talking earlier about just line striping. If that's your niche, focus on it and just crush it. And I was going to suggest to Billy, I don't know if he's still on here or not, but don't worry about getting a loan. Just go out and start striping small parking lots, cash jobs, and just build up your revenue, bring in your cash. Anyway, so sorry, Judd, I know you were asking for a question, but I'm more just saying, get out and crush it. Could be, I think it's 8 degrees right now where I'm at. So yeah, you can make money even when the sun's not shining. So
awesome, Matt. Well, I'm glad you're out there making money and having fun, man. It was so good to see you at Payvex, and thanks for always checking in on the roundtable and being here, man. Appreciate you, bro.
No problem. Thanks, guys.
Thanks. I'm getting some questions that are getting directed to me that says, do we need to pay in order to get access for March 6th? Yes. Anybody who is a King Boss AK- subscriber. So if you're a King Boss AK- subscriber, if you upgrade from where you are, it's $349 a month for King Boss. If you upgrade for a month and give yourself a chance, you're going to get access to King Boss as well as the sales power stack that's included. For those of you that are not on King Boss, the price is $500 to attend the sales power stack. Our company needs to make a little bit of money somewhere to pay all of our wonderful team members and keep the company moving. And it's been fantastic. 22 years we celebrated in December. We're looking forward to another 22. So we're here, we're rocking it. And without you guys, it would not be possible. Without everyone attending here and believing in us and us believing in you. That's what culture is made of. So we're really grateful for the opportunity to work with you guys. Take advantage of the resources that are on AK. Please also just a golden nugget, a tip. If you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel for AK, you should, because we're dropping some incredible content on there. Like I did a freestyle jam with Rika, who is Miss Universe Canada, who was on, and she's starting a seal coating business in Kelowna. Really, really cool interview. I've got some other really great interviews that are coming, freestyle jams that are coming out with Skylar, with Dom. We have another one with Kyle Ascionia, who's built a $3 million paving business. I remember when he bought his first melter from us. And we've got some other great jams as well. So appreciate you guys. If you have any questions at any point in time, judd@asphaltkingdom.com is my email. You're welcome to email me here. Also, Coach Dylan McCann, raise your hand. You are also right there with your email. Alex Coring, you do not have your email up, but pretty easy to reach Alex. He is Sidewalk Safety. We've got Skylar on as well, who of course is a fantastic coach. Dylan Malone, AK- training extraordinaire. He will show you under the hood of AK- and show you the secret sauce that's built into the sales pipeline, as well as uncovering the subcontractor portals, the customer portals, the scheduling functions, and all kinds of cool stuff that's been built to serve you guys. And then Mr. Robert Wallace, you are here with us. Mr. Robert Wallace, raise your hand. Huge shout out to you, sir, on always working to help people get started and serving them to the best of your ability, man. You're awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And to everyone else that is going to watch the video, thank you for tuning into the video. We appreciate you. Next week, we're going to be on the AK Roundtable. It'll be the same time, same place, right here on the AK Roundtable, everyone. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Appreciate you guys. Oh, one last thing. I forgot. Rate the meeting out of 10, 10 being the highest with your hands. Honestly, give us a true rating out of 10 on your camera. Be honest. Be honest. Be honest. All right, cool. Well, there's some good ratings. All right, excellent. All right, well, I hope you guys got some great gold nuggets taken away. Have a beautiful night. Great balance of your week. And remember, next Wednesday, come with those wins. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Take care.